welcome back to another segment of the NBA Topshot series featuring yours truly and Noah. This is, what episode is this? Episode 3, episode 4?
It's 4 because we did one over the weekend. We kind of nixed that after
Yeah,
realizing
that's right.
five's enough.
Yeah, that's right. So this is episode 4 of the series. If you like, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and so you get the notifications when we post these new videos. Honestly, it's one of the favorite videos that I do with Noah every week. We're both big into it now, both monetarily and just like emotionally invested into this product and this market. So we're passionate about it. So we're here to share our views. But Noah, man, another big week for basketball. I mean, we're kind of starting to see a little bit of a turnaround. We had a down week last week. I'm starting to see prices pick back up on a lot of the star players. What are your thoughts, man? Are you excited to get in on this episode? Like, you got some new players to drop. What are you thinking?
Man, I am very excited because I felt bad. And Mike has told you guys he gave me some capital to play with, and I felt bad because the prices went down right after that happened. I'm like, fuck this shit. A little chemistry issues, but it's looking good. I invested in a lot of players. It looks like I spent $1,200 on players, and right now I have just under 900 sold, with a lot of guys still to be sold, or I'm holding them for their value to increase. But as Mike said, a lot of good things happened this week, and a lot of the stuff we touched on came to fruition, right? Those series 1 guys who are young and upcoming studs. I always talked about Mccall Bridges. I did buy him a little bit more expensive a few weeks ago, maybe even like a month ago at this point, around $30, and I sold him for around 32. But I told you guys to go in and buy him, and I did that as well. I practice what I preach. Got him for, I can't find it quickly. I'm not going to bore you. I got one for $23. I think I got one for $21. I see right here. And I flipped them for $32 to $33. Now, if you hold them for longer than I did, you're probably going to be able to get a bigger return because people are starting to see the value in these limited series 1 cards. I always call them season 1. These series 1 cards, especially for teams like Phoenix that are up and coming and being able to potentially compete in the playoffs. So that's a nice 50% return on those cards. And I think another thing we touched on were the rookies, not only from series 2, but series 1, guys like Rui Hachimura are now going for over $100. Michael Porter, who I dropped the bag on, and the bag for me is $125. I sold him for, I think, $165. Yeah, I bought him for $125, sold for $165. He's around $200 by the time we're recording this, and it's just his base set series 1 card. It's nothing rare. It's just a common. And same with a guy like Cole Anthony. Bought him for $124. He was as low as like $99. Sold him for $150. He's around $170 right now. And I think
but hold on, Noah. Before we get too deep into the episode, though, I think we're forgetting something.
I just figured I'd throw it in the beginning at this point. We were just rambling on and on. I'm just going to put it in the beginning, and I'm going to leave this part in there too.
All right.
But I think a huge reason for it too, and I'm not completely tapped into Topshot. So again, don't take any of this as investment advice. We are not financial advisors, although Mike does work in the finance world. We're not telling you how to spend your money. Spend responsibly. Don't listen to us and think that we know everything, because as I'm saying right now, we don't. But what we do know is, I think there's a LaMelo Ball set, and I love saying ball set. Like, I'm too immature for that. But I think it takes rookies from series 1. I'm not even sure about, or I think it takes rookies from series 2. Not sure about series 1, but there has been a jump in series 1 rookies as well as series 2 rookies, even guys that aren't producing worth a fucking damn. Precious Achiuwa went from like $50 to $80. Isaac Okoro, who plays 40 minutes a game and averages 2 points, went from like $50 to $90. Everybody's going crazy right now. Denny Avia, I invested in. He's actually been doing decent in real life. He went from about 60 to 90. So if you got in on rookies, good on you. And if there's one player I'm going to say to invest in, and it's not with a bunch of conviction, and it's definitely with no expertise, is Jarrett Culver, because he's basically the only series 1 rookie that I saw that was going under $50. And he actually had a nice highlight. It's a dunk on, I think, Robin Lopez it was. It looked pretty nice to me. And the fact that he's going under 50, I don't see how that goes any lower, mostly because even a guy like Kevin Porter Jr., who isn't on an active NBA roster, he's in the G League, he's going for around $60 to $70. So once Jarrett Culver comes back from injury, and once he proves what he can be in this league, if he is anything at all, his price is probably going to go $50, $60, $70, and you're going to get a good return on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you listed off a lot of names there. I would say, we did a lot of buys and sells, and I think, especially like last week, like all we saw was market prices going down, like across the board. Didn't matter what card, what moment, what you were doing, but price was just going down. So it's kind of good to see some prices go up, because what that tells me, it's like, people are kind of, the market itself is obviously learning, but it's also identifying like where the cards are to invest. And if you tuned in last episode, hopefully you did, you would know that both Noah and I basically advise you to like punt on any asset that's not a series one or a rookie, like a rookie debut moment for that player. So like the first rookie moment for that player. Because I think those in the long run, the ones going to hold value. And if you look at some of the values are going up, it kind of coincides with a lot of those types of assets. And that's kind of where I've been going with a lot of my investment. And, luckily for me, the prices that dipped on a lot of the players I did have are in those series. So I do fully expect in the long run that I'm going to make money on those. And if anything, I'm actually doubling down, on someone like Michael Porter Jr. I'm actually grabbing another one of his rares. I paid $2,000 for one of his rares before. I think his current value is like 1,500 right now. I'm actually gonna maybe pick up another one just to average down my cost, because I do think that in the long run, it'll work out for players like that because they are limited, and he not only fits the Series 1 criteria, but he also fits the is he a Series 1 or is he a Series 2? I forget.
Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, I think he's a Series 1.
Series 1. Sorry, Mike. I got distracted. Will Barton, for some reason, is $25 when I bought him for $4. So I'm going to sell him right now. He's
Okay.
12,000 limited. So I didn't expect this to happen. Sorry for cutting you off, but fuck, I'm going to sell him right now.
Yeah. So see, you guys got to be really, really in tune with the market. Like, I mean, Noah's on this shit all day. I'm on this shit all day. We're covering different segments of the market because you just don't have enough time to cover everything. But I'm kind of in that mid tier. But someone like a Michael Porter Jr., he's got like $1,400 and for his rare set. So I'm gonna be grabbing another one of those as well to flip in the long run because that's a player that I kind of believe in. But overall, the market is definitely learning and it's definitely evolving, which is really interesting to me. And it's really interesting to see like some of my theories and hypotheses play out in terms of what assets I think are valuable and what assets will hold value in the long run. So if you're in this for the long haul, I'm sure you'll lose some money here and there, but I think if you follow like those simple rules of just picking out the right asset classes to go into, that's like stage one, right? That's kind of the value that I bring to this show because I'm not a prospect evaluator at all. That's kind of where I kind of lean on Noah and say like, hey, who are some of these short-term guys that we can go for? But I kind of bring that macro view, and the macro view is like, hey, invest in Series 1, invest in rookies, and invest in the ones that have that are limited, like the ones that aren't still producing mass amounts for the most part. Those are usually like rules of thumb that I went for early on. And I think if you start there, just don't go too heavy and buy like 50 moments right away. Just when I first started, I was buying like maybe like 2, 3, 4 at a time and only holding those and then only reinvesting once I like sold. So those are some simple rules to follow if you're just getting started in the space. But also obviously tune into these weekly episodes because Noah's gonna be dropping names like the one he just did where he flipped for like 4 or 5x. And
I know why. I kind of want to cut you off real quick. It's because the new Cool Cats dropped, and I'm looking at the set right now, and it requires TJ McConnell, Michael Porter, Eric Bledsoe, just 3 random guys. They're 15,000 plus CC, so they're still in circulation. So they're going for $8-9. But Will Barton is a 12,000 LE. He was a CC that got put on LE a few weeks back in Series 2. Same with Stanley Johnson. That's why their prices went up. And I think if there's any point in buying a Series 2 guy or anybody that Mike said basically not to buy, basically if they're not a rookie or it's not their first moment or it's not a Series 1 card, just keep an eye on collections if there's any rumors or stuff like that. If you were to invest in Will Barton, who was routinely going for $4, and he was somebody who I was not looking at to buy because he's not a superstar player. He's on a good team, but if there's 12,000 of them, who really wants Will Barton? But if there's news dropping that he might be in a set, I mean, I made 5x on him, and obviously I could have made a whole lot more if I knew this was happening. But if you're going to invest, maybe look into guys that have potential being in sets, or don't list guys like I did, a 15,000 plus Michael Porter. Don't list them for $1 or $2 more than you invested in him. Like I had him for $5, sold him for 6 or 7. I was wondering why he sold randomly. It's because he's in this set as well. I would have only made $1 or $2 more, but selling a guy like Eric Bledsoe or McConnell or Stanley Johnson for $1 to $2 profit, making $6 off the player when you spent $5, do you really need that money that quick? If you do, go for it. But when you have the potential like a Will Barton I just saw, a Stanley Johnson, or even a Keldon Johnson, when they become LE and the price goes up twice as much, I don't know. From what I've learned, it might be worthwhile that if you get them in a pack or you just see them cheap for $2 or $3 and you want to take that chance, just ride it out and see if they have any long-term value rather than flipping them for 10% of what you bought them for rather than 5x, 500%, which is once in a while and you're not going to know. But these lower end cards, there's no harm in waiting because the value probably isn't going to drop lower than $4 for most of these players.
Yeah, and just to clarify, like when Noah says CC versus LE, if you go to like the NBA Top Shots, and you'll see like a number, like a slash population, and for example, like Michael Porter right now, this common number series 2, it says common number slash 15,000 plus CC, which means that they're still circulating and still producing those cards. Versus if you look at his other common, his series 1 common, it says common number slash 1530 LE, which means that those are no longer being produced. So the population is limited. So obviously, once you restrict the population and the scarcity goes up, the values will jump up. And then if you slap on top of that, you needing these cards for to make collections and whatnot, that's going to drive the price up. But that's not going to be like long term, right? Like if people are just grabbing these to collect, to make a set, to get whatever the bonus is from that set, once that's over, like you're going to see the prices tank again, which is why those are very important to keep track of those in the short term to kind of profit that way. But long-term holders and long-term buyers and holders, like that's not something that you want to chase. And then the last thing is, we brought this up before, but like certain promotion packs, like I typically like to dump them immediately as I get them. So I think both Noah and we qualified for one of the promotional gift packs that we got, and I got Donovan Mitchell in mine, and Noah got what, TJ McCollum? Is that what you got?
CJ McCollum, yeah.
Yeah, and we both sold it like the day of. So I sold my Donovan Mitchell for like $75, which is like 10% below market. But I just want to get out of it really quick because I really don't see any value in a lot of those packs, especially for players that aren't rookies and it's not their first rookie moment. They're just not going to hold value in the long run. So just be mindful for trends like that, and just really like be ready to take advantage. And you really have to be in sync with the stuff like on a daily basis. Like this is not a market where you can just kind of put money in and just not look at it for like a month or 2 months. There's going to be so much price movements in between, and you're just going to like lose out on so much value, similar to like when you play dynasty fantasy football, right? You don't just draft a team and forget about it for a month and a half and check back in mid-season. That's not how you want to approach this market. There's a lot of short-term things to be gained, and there's a lot of long-term stuff. So the way you should think about it, and the way I think about it, is I divide my portfolio up into like short-term and long-term assets. So to that extent, like Noah is really managing like that short-term part of the portfolio where he can like do buys and flips on a lot of these lower end assets. I have a lot of like price movements, a lot of spikes, whereas I'm looking more like medium to long-term, and really just investing in players that I think will go up in value over the long run, so that if I hold them, they might have like intermediary fluxes. Like right now, the whole market's down, so I took hits on prices there. But I think in the long run, like if I'm investing in the right players and the good players, and I'm investing in the right asset classes, like I said before, which is like, the series 1s, the rookie moments, in the long run, I think that'll kind of play out for me in terms from an ROI perspective. So you really got to kind of have that fulsome view and that fulsome approach, which is why, on these episodes, like Noah's kind of bringing in that insight and I'm bringing in the insight from the macro level, and you got to combine that. And again, it's not financial advice. This is just what we do. This is our own experience. So don't take it as financial advice, but you really got to have that type of approach to be successful in the market, in my opinion.
Yeah, one last player, if you are going to invest in somebody and somebody to potentially look at, we talked about it before the show. We said Blake Griffin, he doesn't have a card in there, but Andre Drummond, it's now come out that the team is going to either cut him or just not play him at all or try to find a trade partner. He is too good of a player. You can argue if he's good or not. He's too good of a player to go unclaimed after he's cut or not find a trade partner. And he's one of those players who has been in shitty situations in Cleveland, in Detroit, playing for UConn basketball. He's been through it all. He's going to want to go to some sort of contender. I could easily see Boston trying to take a shot at him because he is a pretty local guy. He's been in the Northeast and in New England. If he goes to the Clippers, because they don't really have a big man presence, if he goes to the Nets somehow, I just see that if he has the freedom to do what he wants, which the NBA is all about, is player empowerment and being able to basically choose where they want to play. I don't see him going to another shitty team. I don't see him going back to Detroit. I don't see him going to, you name it, a garbage team. The Knicks aren't too bad, but if he goes there, like I see him going to a legit contender, because at this point in his career, I'm not so sure that a disparagement or a disparity in money is going to keep him from wanting to actually win a title. So investing in a series 1 card of him, I know his series 1 moments are kind of lame, but he's fairly cheap. If he goes to a good team, they win a championship, they make a run in the playoffs, and he's putting up 15 and 15 like he does. There's going to be more hype. There's going to be more eyes on him. And just overall, as Mike was saying, the market's rising. NBA is starting to become a daily thing, and people are more into it now because there's no football on. Baseball is a fucking shit show. College basketball, we don't even know if March Madness is going to happen. It probably will, and it'll probably happen in a bubble. The NBA playoffs are going to improve the ratings of these cards in real life so much. There's gonna be eyes on it. And the fact that they're doing this many stress tests tells me that they're getting further and further away from beta and going to like a full app and a full working app where the app doesn't break down every time they drop a pack. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there's going to be more people in the market. There's going to be more buyers than what they are now. And if more eyes come to the app, if there are more buyers, the prices are going to jump. So get in now if you can. Go for those Series 1 guys. Go for those rookies. Go for players that can potentially be traded and get their Series 1 cards and reap the benefits.
Yeah, I think just going back on Andre Drummond real quick, I think it's like Series 1 is actually pretty decent. It's like an alley-oop dunk. So
I saw one that was a layup, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay away from that.
Yeah, I think that's his like that might be his like Series 2 or no the layup the one with versus New York Series 1.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 2 Series 1. So the first Series 1 dunk, which is February 9th, 2020, is like a layup. Is an alley-oop dunk. So it's actually pretty cool. So if you guys are expecting him to get traded and that seems like a good move to make, you could definitely make that play. But yeah, that's all we got. I mean, we're gonna keep our ears to the floor here and really measure the pulse on this market as a whole. It's been interesting because I kind of got in, I would say like late, to be honest. Like I wish I knew about this like way early on. There's a lot more money to be made there. But even now, I think it's like a good opportunity for some pretty asymmetric returns. You guys know I'm all about that in terms of like, yeah, there's risk and there's downside, but the upside can be massive. Like Noah said, like once playoffs come around and you're getting prime time basketball all the time and more eyeballs. And again, we're still in the freaking pandemics. People can't go anywhere. You're going to see the market as a whole move up. Like right now, you're only seeing certain asset classes and certain players go up, right? This is why you need like analysis that, like Noah and I are providing you, because that'll tell you who to go for. But the real like money and like cash cow is like when the entire market goes up as a whole. So as the market goes up and like everyone starts going up, the really good person to go up like tenfold compared to the more average guys. So we're really waiting for that moment. And right now is a good time to get in because, you can buy low and there's a lot of sellers that are driving prices down on some of these top end assets. So it's a good time to kind of, take a swing and, play on some of the cheap guys. It's like a good time to practice, right? So that that when the market's hot and there's a lot of money to be made, exactly how to navigate the markets. And you've already like built up a little bit of a rapport and built up a little bit of a transaction history so that if you do choose to exit the market and you do choose to exit this as a platform, by the end of the season, you'll be able to do that.
Yep, for sure. And if you want to get in the Discord or just sign up for NBA Topshot and just watch the market and not even put any money into it and just see what happens in the trends, that's valuable too. Even just seeing, you saw Will Barton for $4 2 weeks ago. He's 25. Oh, you see he's in a set now. Maybe that gives you the ability to be more forward thinking and be like, okay, I'm going to invest in this LE guy who's $4 because realistically, he's not going to be $3 or $2 because he's limited. More people are going to be in the market buying players. Invest in those guys. If I was smarter, I would have done that too. But I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. The All-Star Weekend, I think, is early March. So that's coming up quick. So keep an eye on guys in the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. We probably know who's going to be in the All-Star game unless they opt out because of COVID. Keep an eye on that. That could be another nice play to buy young guys in the dunk contest. If they have an exciting showing, their price probably jumps as well. So just pay attention. And with football not around and this being a football channel, maybe focus a little bit of what you would on Dynasty on NBA Topshot if you're in the market of trying to make a little bit of a return. So that's my whole spiel on the thing. We're having fun doing it and we're having fun making the content around it. So hopefully you guys enjoy these type of videos because whether you do or not, they're coming out every Thursday or Friday. So we're going to keep pumping these videos out and we'll see if I make Mike some money.
All right. That's all we got for you guys. If you liked, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be pumping these out, like Noah said, every week, along with our regular scheduled fantasy football content. We got you all covered this offseason. Entertainment, knowledge, big facts, money making. We got it all. We're going to try to get you guys, well prepared and just, keep you entertained during this pandemic, man. That's what we're all about. All right? So we got peace. The most brokest gold stock broker when I solstice. I could win an Oscar. Russian accent, horse acid addict, cross the avid after.